We've been joined by Sabra Asante, a good old friend.
That's right.
And Sabra convenes the Accra Liners Group. So I'm sure you are not too much into the iPad.
Well, I mean, I have nothing against the iPad. You know, there was a time that Linus Torvalds, who invented Linux and so on, wrote the software, was using a Mac. But of course, he was using Linux on the Mac, not the OS X. So for me, it's fantastic. For me, open source is just that it's a word.
Do you know, can you get open source to work on this?
Yes, you can. That's what I'm saying. Linus Torvalds was working not on a PC, he was working on a Mac.
Yeah.
But it was Linux on the Mac.
Yeah.
So you can, Linux of course is all cross-platform and so on and so forth, different hardware and so on. But you know, the beauty of it is that it's an opportunity for everybody. Whereas some of these things, they're a little pricey, not all of us can afford it. But this makes it open to everybody. You know? And for me, I think a bit more for the developer community. Because most people cannot afford all the software which goes along with these things in order to develop other software. But when you're on the open source platform, you can develop. And I'm not a fanatic. I don't mind you gaining all the skills and moving them over to the proprietary platform. But this is why I think as a nation, as individuals, we need to support open source.
So Sabra, the last time we met was at the andl conference.
That's right.
What has happened since then for Ghana?
Well, for Ghana, I'm not sure too much has happened. But of course, the andl conference, like many of these conferences, brings a lot of people together. It tells you that we have a community there. And of course, the andl people realize that if you wanted a community in Ghana, you need to support the Linux user groups. So we were there in our numbers, and that's what brought the Ghanaian side of the picture to the conference.
Well, I was there for a very specific reason. I was there actually trying to see what can be done to support the Constitution Review Commission.
I must admit, I have never thought about it. We were talking about reviewing the Constitution just a few moments ago, and I believe there are some changes that need to be made in the Constitution, but I'm not sure we are ready to make the hard choices. For example, we have a crop of MPs who double as ministers and who are so very busy and don't have the time for it. But I'm not sure we are ready to make some of those dramatic changes. So we are probably
if all ministers in Britain are MPs and they can make it work, why can't we make it work?
Okay, so we are talking about two different systems. You have the parliamentary system, where the people who represent, the wider people are also in the executive. I.e., when you have a majority group, they go and form the government. But we have a different system here, where you have supposedly a minority and a majority. You have an executive legislature, definitely separated. That's the idea. That's the concept behind it. So when you mix the two, then suddenly you run into problems.
I was thinking more about what are your views about the possibilities of using technology to advance the conversation on the Constitution.
Yes, you can. I think technology, if they wanted to open it up, that would make it then open to everybody.
They want to open it up, but what can techniques like you do to them?
No.
What do you mean if they want to open it up?
Maybe I better go and visit them and tell them how they need to sort of get their web things together, get a website, stream all the activities.
They have a website.
But are they streaming their meetings on their website and so on?
Not yet.
Yes. Okay, so
it comes down to being open and transparent. They don't want to be open and transparent.
No, they want to be open and transparent. The technical community has not helped them enough, but they want to be.
No, because like I'm saying, if he's saying that they are interested, I need to rush there and tell them how you can put the technology package together so they can stream everything. Everybody can sort of listen on to what's going on, and maybe at the next level also even contribute directly to what goes on, because this is what is done worldwide. I remember when ISOC, the International Society. Internet Society met in Ghana. I believe they had all the cameras and everything. They were streaming globally. We have the people who can do it in Ghana. So this is not a technical challenge.
No.
It's the willingness of the governance level to be open and transparent. And if the guys are ready, it can be done for them. Everybody can participate, no matter what part of Ghana they are and so on. And they can put the ideas, or what part of the world, because we have a lot of Ghanaians outside as well. And we can have a fantastic because we'll take Ghana to the next level in terms of governance, because suddenly we are saying even our constitution, not just our elections. I mean, NPP has done, I think, quite a good thing, opening these primaries to a wide number of people so you can't buy them off. I think it's fantastic. But we can take it to the next level, the global level, where in reviewing our constitution, we can bring everybody into a picture.
Because what generally tends to happen with constitution review is a committee seems to sit down and determine for the populace what questions they're going to ask and at what depth they will ask those questions. So for instance, there was recently an issue, I don't know if it was Denmark or one of these Scandinavian countries, where they were trying to review their constitution I think, for the purposes of the EU. And they asked a question. And the question that was asked was a one-line question, or required a one-line answer, a one-word answer. Yes or no?
Oh, no.
Do you think we should join the European Union? Yes or no? But there was no breakdown of exactly what it entailed. Because if you ask such a blanket question, someone could say no, but you do not know why his reason is for his reason to say no. Do you understand? So if you give him ample space or ample room, he would tell you no because of this particular reason, but on the whole, I think yes. You see? So it's on balance.
So if I understand you correctly, we can use the new technology to go beyond a referendum kind of question.
That's right. Because then you can now start to narrow down on what are the main features that outside the committee the general public are concerned about. You see? And then you can narrow down to the key areas so that when you come to referendum, because you have to take this to referendum, when you come down to referendum, you have key questions that the majority, it's about percentages. So the majority of the population that you're aspiring to get response from actually agree, on certain questions to be asked, and they will give you the answers. And in that way, you have a more legitimate.
You have a deeper conversation.
Yes. Well, the conversation will be had, but you have a more legitimate referendum, because then the answers to that referendum are in such a way that it's by consensus. Everybody has agreed that these are things that most trouble us. If you can answer these questions, then everything comes into play. That's what I think. And then it applies to the Constitution.
Well, let me end this segment with you, Sabra. So apart from the big Constitution, you've been around for donkey years. How do you see the ability of government to use these new technologies?
Well, I think the ability is there. I think it's more a question of willingness. Are we willing to go that way? For example, I was talking to certain people in government, and I understand that we're supposed to go very far in e-governance, But of course, being in the castle and not moving over to a new building, maybe things have not happened as it. But the ability is there, the techniques are there, the technologies are there, the plans are there. We just have to move forward.
Why can't we have full e-government from the castle as it is?
They could, but then they would have to set up all the infrastructure within the castle. But if you have another structure which already has the infrastructure, it doesn't really make any sense to do it in an old place. So what I'm saying is that everything is there. We just need to go, take the step of it. Call it political will, I don't know what we call it. But we should just go and get on with it. We have all that it takes to do. We should just go and get on with it.
But you remember some time ago, when NPP first came into government, you remember there was actually a session that was done on video conferencing. So the president was talking to, say, a minister in the north or wherever it was. I can't remember where exactly it was. And the idea was that the president would sit in town and discuss with the regional ministers, which would stop the regional, because if you look at the cost and the risk attached to a regional minister coming from the region to Accra to get a briefing or to debrief and go back, as compared to the president being able to turn on his laptop or his video screen or whatever and have a video conference, with the minister and the minister's team, or so on and so forth. You could do the same with DCs, you could do the same with MCs, and MCs and DCs could do the same with their constituents, and so on and so forth. An MP, for instance, if he needs to be in Accra, if he's not from Accra and he needs to be in Accra, he can talk to his constituents, so they can go to their local town hall or whatever it is, fire up the video system, and have.
Sabra, there's a challenge to you and me. We've been in this business for about 15, 20 years. Why is this still happening?
Because I believe people are not really ready for it. I mean, when you don't have it open and you can do backroom deals, make politics very easy. If you throw it out there in the open, all the little goodies that drop by the side will just disappear. So that's what it really is. You and I believe, are ready to get ahead with it. I can get my technology gurus around. You can set up the political frameworks and so on and so on. These things could work. So we could do it today. We could do it now. But it's up to people to be open and say, yes, let's go ahead with it. This is really what will benefit Ghana.
Think about it, per diem. If you had video conferencing, you don't need to get up and go to Brussels or wherever it is to have your meetings. You can sit in your damned office.
No per diem.
Yes, no per diems. Per diems will be ruled out. All the things, as you said, the goodies that people are deriving. First class tickets, going on drones with girlfriends and so on and so forth. It's not going to happen anymore.
They will say no.
They'll say no.
They'll definitely say no.
It's like, for instance, if you look at this thing to automate the government payroll system, for instance, why has it taken so long to come about? It's taken this long simply because it actually is in people's interest for there not to be such a system in place, just so that we have more of the same. And unless there is a will, and there is, the political will, I'm not sure that it's there. I think they like the idea of it. We've had an ICT policy which is not worth sport, is it? So if you think about it from that perspective, and you think about the fact that we actually know that these things exist, we actually want to do these things, but the will to actually execute them and implement them and to use them, utilize them on a daily basis is not there. And that's about the bottom line.
It's amazing, you went specifically to some of these goodies, and because the goodies are so important, it's amazing. It even, it stultifies people's thinking. They can't think beyond that. Because I've had a group of civil servants telling them of monitoring and evaluation, and telling them that monitoring and evaluation has nothing to do with supervisory visits. Yes, you can go
Sabra
out.
teaches us GIMPA.
Okay. So he's told the background. So you can go out there and do these monitoring visits. I'm not saying supervisory visits. They're a good thing. But what you need is to be at the center, be able to have your checklist, to be able to have your format, to have data streaming to you which you analyze. But no, they prefer to go out there. Maybe all the mistakes have been done already. But of course, when they go out there, it solves all their problems.
You say you're going on a fact-finding mission. You go all the way to some down-and-out village somewhere, taking a whole team of people.
All the sheep and goats to be in danger.
That is it. You run around, you do all your stuff, and you come back to Accra and you write a report. Meanwhile, the information could have just been sent to you. It's as simple as that.
Oh, thank you very much.